Hello, extremely intelligent ones. Welcome back to the Movie Net Review. I'll be your host today, Peter Ware. Today's topic will be on TV shows. I run into a lot of people who do not like TV shows for the reason of that it hooks you in to a show that you have to watch week after week. And it goes on for like a good amount of episodes, right? And this person is addicted now to this show, so they don't like that. Plus, I've also heard people say that they don't like cliffhangers for that reason. So, yeah, I agree with some of those people. But, in my mind, I love TV shows. As a big fan of books, I love it how a TV show feels more like a book than movies do. In the way that, with a book, right? Pick up a book. You read a chapter of a book. Then you have to choose whether to read the next chapter or to stop for the night or wherever point you're at, right? With a TV show, right? Watch the first episode of a TV show. You watch whatever episode, right? You're on, right? Then you have to choose whether you're going to go into the next episode or you're going to stop for the night or for whatever time you're watching this, right? That's what I like about TV shows is it feels more like a book with that the story can continue going later on instead of with a movie how you watch the movie and then it's done, right? While you can dissect the movie afterwards, with a TV show you can be guessing on what goes on next. You can't do that during the movie, but once the movie's over you already know. Once the episode's over, you still have time when you're not focusing on what's actually happening in the show at the moment to start thinking about, okay, what could happen next in the show? And because of this, I really like TV shows for that. I love cliffhangers, and I love it how it draws you back in every week. So, here are my top 10 favorite TV shows that I recommend you guys check out. With some shows, how I can watch it more than once and enjoy it. With this show, I started watching the first couple seasons, going like into the fourth season, and then stopped again because it just got old too quickly. So I like the show, and I've watched the other seasons again too, but I haven't been able to actually completely watch from the first season to the last season all the way through again because it's good, but it has a lot of the same story over and over again. I know the whole story now, so I like. Number 9, The Hardy Boys. The Hardy Boys in Nancy Drew is a show I watched a lot as a kid. My family would get the seasons in the library, and more recently I checked it back out again, and yeah, I still like it. It's good. It's not perfect, but it's good. I won't spoil any of the episodes, but I think there's some really great episodes, and there's some less than good episodes. Has some very fun adventures and mysteries, and there's some stories I really like out of those, and some of it might come from my nostalgia, but I really like the series. It's not perfect, but I like it. So yeah, you can feel free to check it out if you want. Number 8, The Crown. The Crown is a great series. I really enjoy it. I haven't finished it yet. I'm only in the second season, so I don't know. It might go high on my list, but it's one of those shows that I started into it and haven't finished yet. I really like it, but I've been getting busy with other stuff, so I haven't finished it yet. But when I get back to it and I finish it, it might change on my list, but for right now it's low on because I haven't finished it, and what I've watched of it is good, but it's not perfect. So yeah, I really enjoy seeing her as a young queen, and it's an enjoyable watch. I recommend that you guys check it out if you want. Number 7, Superman Lois. As I was talking about with Smallville, Superman, I also like it. He has his kids, and one of his sons has his powers, and he's trying to train him how to use his powers. I really like that. I think the show overall is pretty good, and the characters are fun, and strongly recommend that you guys check this out. I've only watched it once over, but that's because the series is still coming out. I might check out the seasons again before watching the third season when it comes out. So, yeah, but I really recommend it. This show is awesome, and hopefully it doesn't get canceled. Number 6, Stranger Things. Stranger Things is a great show. I love it. But as you can see, I put it closer to the bottom of my list for the reason that it's not perfect. But I will say this series does a really strange thing. It gives me nostalgia for the 80s. I don't know how it does it, because I was born in the 2000s, but it does a great job giving nods to the films that were made in the 80s and all. And it gives me nostalgia for a time I wasn't even born in. I did grow up watching stuff like E.T. and all, so I guess that's some of it, but it's like, well, actually, no, I don't. I don't remember the 80s. So how am I feeling like I remember them? Duffer Brothers do a great job giving the nods to the 80s. And apparently, they were born in the 80s, so they're really, the only nostalgia they have is when they were really little. And they're really just having nostalgia for the 90s, but somehow they just watched these movies that were made in the 80s and then just create a show. And so, yeah, overall, I like the show. There's some cool elements. I like the mysteries to it and the monsters and all that. It's a very fun show, and it's interesting. Not the best, but it's a very enjoyable show that I'll probably check out again sometime. Number 5. Reacher. This is a show that only came out last year or the year before, but I watched it more recently because critics talk about how great it was. I'm like, interesting. So I checked it out, and man, it is good. Think Sherlock Holmes meet a bodybuilder. You're going to see a lot on this list. Shows that are Sherlock Holmes with this, Sherlock Holmes with that, right? Because I really like Sherlock Holmes. So Reacher is a show about, a man who's like really muscular and like really strong and all, but he also has this intellect that's like Sherlock Holmes, so he can solve crimes and all. So basically, he helps the cops, and it's a really fun adventure about him just doing solving these crimes. It's a lot of fun. I hear this in the second season, and I can't wait. So yeah, I would recommend that you guys check this out if you guys are an adult, because it is rated R for violence. So yeah, feel free to check it out. Number 4. Sherlock. Everyone knows about Sherlock Holmes. He's one of the most common characters of all time. I think I might be wrong, so you can feel free to comment if I am wrong about this, but I think he might hold the record for the character who appeared in the most amount of movies and TV shows. But Sherlock is a great show. It takes the story of Sherlock Holmes and sets it in the modern world, where you see him solving crimes like Sherlock Holmes does. But he has more modern technology, so it's almost easier, but also can be a little more complicated with trying to solve these murder mysteries, because it's just the world has been able to adapt, and these villains are able to find better ways to commit crimes that the old Sherlock in the 1800s would not have been able to solve, because he wouldn't have had the right technology to deal with this stuff. I don't care what everyone else thinks. I think that Benedict Cumberbatch is, as far as I've seen of Sherlock Holmes stuff, he's the best Sherlock Holmes in my mind. And this show, I wish it had more episodes than it did, but for as long as it was really good. I really enjoyed these episodes, and I've watched it 3 times over. It's a great show, and I recommend that you check it out. Number 3, Arrow. I came upon this show a number of years ago. By that time, the 7th season was being made. So I had to catch up all the way, and I was able to watch the last couple episodes of season 7 when it came out. Wow, with season 8 was the only season I was actually able to watch it as each episode came out. And that season was awesome. A lot of great episodes in that season. I love it because I'm a big fan of archery and all. As you can see, I have a hunting bow over there. I love it how it's not a normal guy using a gun. He's using archery. While this series is not perfect and definitely has some problems with it, some overall story stuff are good. I watched this series only once over, but when I get time, I will watch it over again because I actually really like it. And I think some overall stories going throughout really nice. I really enjoyed it. I love the character of all the Queen, and I love how he's a Batman type person, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. Some great stories in it, some great fight scenes and all. I enjoy it a lot. I recommend that you check it out if you want. Number 2, Grimm. This TV show is based off of the Brothers Grimm fairy tales. It follows a man who is a police detective who has to solve mysteries are being committed by these monsters, right? And he has the ability to see the monsters that no one else can, right? These monsters have a past and going back into the Brother Grimm's fairy tales and stuff like that. AKA why the name of the show is called Grimm. It's an enjoyable watch. You see him solve these mysteries that have like these like snake monsters and these werewolves, and like it has a fun like adventure aspect to it while still having the crime aspect. I love it how it's not a completely woke show that has to push in all these agendas. It's just allowed to be a nice, enjoyable show with some awesome episodes. There's some episodes I don't like as much, but overall, I think every episode I would recommend watching because it's just really fun. And this show it's set in modern times and it has this like nice crime drama to it, but also still having that like fantasy element that is really enjoyable too. So you can like have some points in the episode where you like see a crime scene or like you see a murder or something like that. And you're like, wow, what? And you're like, but it's like, oh yeah, so now it's going to be just a detective figuring out all this murder stuff. But you also have this element of like, but that wasn't a human that committed that murder. That was this guy that was kind of human, but he kind of had like scales and looked like a crocodile or something like that. It's like, so it's like this element of like surprise of what new monsters are you going to encounter while they're still humans too are you going to encounter in this episode. So I really recommend that you check out this show. I really like it. That's why I'm putting it up at the top of my list. But yeah, this show is awesome, and I've watched it twice over, and I'll probably watch it again. Number 1, Forever. This is a show that not much people have heard of. It's an awesome show. This is why I put it on the top of my list. It follows an immortal man who's a doctor who's kind of like a Sherlock Holmes. It's basically like if Sherlock Holmes was immortal, basically. So he's like trying to solve how to kind of die while also solving these mysteries that's going on. And then he's like really, because how old he is. He was like born in, it says like the 18th century or something like that. But he's like, they came to the United States when it was created on a slave ship, right? So you have this whole thing about what he feels about slaves. It's a very interesting show. But it's only one season, which is really sad. I wish there was more seasons of this. But with the one season they have, this I really, really like. That's why I put it on the top, because I really like it's kind of like Sherlock Holmes if he was immortal. And I really enjoy watching this guy solve mysteries, right? How old he is causes it so he has memories of these like really old events. And so he's like, oh, yeah, like one episode is dealing with Jack the Ripper copycat, right? And he's just like, oh, I remember, I was the one who was the examiner on that case and all. So he's like, this is very interesting, seeing how this person is so accurate to how the Jack the Ripper is. And I won't spoil what happens in that episode, but it's awesome, the ending. That episode has a good point on the importance of sometimes allowing serial killers like stories to die because of what happens in the episode, that based on what happens in the episode. Yeah, so I really like that. I really like the series for that. It's a very fun series. I recommend you guys check it out. So this is the list of the TV shows I like and recommend. You can have different lists than me. Feel free to list any shows that you actually really like that I didn't mention. Again, as with the last 2 videos, this list might change over time once I watch more movies and TV shows. But overall, right now, that's my list. If you disagree with it, feel free to comment below why, but be nice about it. A little question with the beginning, how I started by saying, hello, extremely intelligent lambs. Tell me, what's your thoughts about that? I've been thinking about adding a name for our group here, and I thought I would say that, but I mean, if none of you guys like it, I can find a different name. I like it. Feel free to comment what your thoughts about that name is. Thank you for clicking on this video. This has been the Movie Night Review. Peter Wary, signing off.